Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, the #1 place for information on living in Maryland. Today we're going to talk about the cost of living in Frederick, Maryland. And this also applies to the surrounding Frederick area, so if you're not looking to move right downtown, this still applies to you. And make sure you stick around until the end where I talk about the average cost of a mortgage, which is really important when considering whether or not to move here. So let's get started. All right, so the hot button topic right now is gas prices, so we'll start there. Right now, September of 2022 in the Frederick area, for a regular gallon of gas, you're paying between $3.30 a gallon and $3.50 a gallon. And for diesel, you're right around $4.80 a gallon. This is really important to factor into your budget when considering the cost of living in an area. So if you need updates on these prices, make sure you're looking online. One of the good sites to go to is gasbuddy.com. That's what I use, and it also helps you find the cheapest gas in the area. So since I just mentioned this, let's talk about utilities next, and we can start with gas prices. So natural gas in the Frederick area is costing the average household about $142 a month. This is if you're heating your house with gas and you're cooking with natural gas that's connected to your home. And if you're connected to public water, this is going to cost you about $100 a month on average. Obviously, if you use more than the average family, that's going to go up for you. And if you're on a well, which is the majority of Frederick County, this doesn't apply to you. That's going to be translated into your electric bill, and all dependent on your use as well. And the average cost of electric is about $133 a month. I will say this one varies so much from house to house. You have to keep in mind that Frederick County has a lot of single-story ranchers that are really cheap to heat and cool. So this is going to depend on your area and size of house. And the utility that people care about the most is internet. And right now, Xfinity and Verizon are the big players in the area, with Xfinity covering the majority of Frederick County. So we'll talk about them. They're about $110 a month for your standard internet package. And if you're looking for internet and cable, your plans are going to hover around $150 a month. All right, so we have the utilities out of the way, and now you have to eat. So how much does it cost to fill your fridge in Frederick and the surrounding Frederick area? Right now, it's costing about $215 per person per month to fill your fridge. This is going to most grocery stores, your Food Lions, Giants, Safeways, and even Wegmans, which is a great grocery store we have here in the area. So make sure you're factoring that in. I know some areas are much cheaper, some are much more expensive. Food costs are something you have to budget when thinking of moving to a new area. But if you're moving to the Frederick area, you're going to want to check out all the cool restaurants, since there's over 60 bars and restaurants just in downtown alone. So what does that cost? Well, if you're going out for a night on the town, it's going to cost you about $20 to $30 per meal for the average adult. If you're just getting a burger, it's about 15 bucks. If you're ordering a pizza for a large, it's about 20. And if you're getting a beer with that meal, you're paying about 7 bucks on average for the local draft beers in the Frederick area. And a glass of wine right now is averaging about $10. All right, so these next two items only apply to you if you have kids or dogs. And if you do, you know how expensive they can be. So let's start with vet care. Here in the Frederick area, it's going to cost you about $75 per appointment to take your dog to the vet. And annually, it's going to cost about $200 for their checkups and shots. So keep that in mind when you're budgeting. And when it comes to feeding your pets, I highly recommend just ordering your food online. The pet stores in the area mark up prices between $10 and $20 a bag. So it's really not worth it to go shopping there. Better off just going on chewy.com and ordering everything there. All right, so we all know how expensive kids can be, so we have to bring up the biggest expense when talking about them, and that is daycare. The average cost right now in the Frederick area for childcare is about $1,100 for infants and $975 for pre-K. This is a huge expense. This is like having another mortgage payment. So when you're factoring in the cost of living in Frederick, you have to account for this. And the last and most important thing to talk about when considering the cost of living in the Frederick area is your average mortgage payment. Right now, the median price point is sitting just under $500,000 in the area, so we'll use that as an example. Let's say you use a conventional loan with 5% down and an interest rate of about 6% on that $500,000 house. You're going to be looking at a monthly mortgage of about $3,700. Obviously, this changes if you move inside city limits because there is a Frederick City tax, just like most municipal areas. So if you're looking at the nuances of living in the county versus living in the city, that's something I would would be happy to help with, just reach out to me. And make sure you watch my video on the pros and cons of living in Frederick, Maryland. And as always, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe so that you stay up to date on all of my videos about living in Maryland.